How's it going, people? Sam and Slabby here, and this is your update for today. It is Monday, and yeah, Soul Reaper's here. So, in case you've forgotten since the BTS, basically Soul Reaper is the update for this month, and it's kind of like a new addition to Slayer. It's also bringing along some armor and new gear and things like that alongside it. So, basically, to start this off, you need to head down to Drainer. And just to the north of it, you'll find a portal. You enter the portal and you'll find Death inside. So all you need to do is speak to Death and he'll eventually hand you a Grim Gem. He'll also tell you about Soul Reaper itself. So basically, this Grim Gem will act like the Enchanted Gem for Slayer. The difference is it's only kind of applicable to Soul Reaper. And that's pretty much it. So Soul Reaper itself then. Once a day you can go down to Death, speak to him, and he'll offer you a boss killing assignment that's achievable at your combat level. These can range from the Giant Mole, Kelphite Queen, Barrows Brothers, all the way up to Rise of the Six, Araxi, and Virago. So yeah, could be a bit of a bitch if you don't actually go to like the big groups like Virago and Rise of the Six and things like that, and you'd rather do it solo. So, to kind of counter that, just in case, because obviously not everyone's going to want to do it, you can speak to Death again and he will give you up to 5 alternatives per day. The catch with using these alternatives, which like downgrades your assignment, is that you'll receive 25% less Reaper points upon completing it. And you can only do one of these a day. So, turning it down, you are going to lose a bit, and you can turn it down up to 5 times, and even if you complete the 5th, you won't gain any Reaper points whatsoever. So if you've gone to the alternative 5 times, well, you're pretty much screwed. You're not going to get any points for it, so yeah, I don't know. So that's the alternative anyway. So I dare say if you're like max combat, you've got the max cape or comp cape or something like that, it'll probably give you something like Virago, Rise of the Six, or this Araxi thing. And it's entirely up to you. In all likelihood, if you don't want to group up, then obviously you're going to be downgrading, which means you'll get less points, so it'll take you longer. Either way, this is what you get for it. So item wise and things like that you can earn from Soul Reaper. Upon completing them, you earn a modest amount of Slayer XP and you'll get some Reaper points, as we've just been talking about. This will allow you to buy, well, quite a few items, to be totally honest. First off is the Aura Refresh. Item offers a one-time reset of a combat aura which is on cooldown. You can use it once per day, and they come in a variety of tiers relating to the tiers of the auras they affect. So you may find that handy to constantly refresh, maybe penance or something like that. The next is Death Steel. It's a consumable item that reduces the degradation of armor and weapons by 50% on your next death. 7-0. You can permanently decrease instance costs by 25%. So that is actually quite nice. That'll save you some money in the long run. The next one is permanently increase the bonfire health boost durations by 25%. So that is just the durations, mind. That's not going to increase the amount of HP you get from it. Just make it last longer, which I suppose is alright, but then again it only takes what, 6 mage logs? Come on now. Not really worth it. The next is Rainbow Loot Beams. Allows you to highlight valuable drops with a cascade of colour. If you're into shiny colours, up to you. Next is unlock the ability to buy extra Soul Reaper assignments in exchange for Space Slayer points. You probably will end up using that. Next is an incomplete Hydrex, which is a brand new gem being added to the game. The idea is you buy this Hydrex and you combine it with an Onyx gem, and you use this new Hydrex gem to actually make these new amulets and rings and stuff, which are coming up now. So for this you need 79 or above crafting and a minimum of 87 magic to cast level 6 enchant. So the items themselves is the Ring of Death, has a chance to heal you for 2.5% of slain target's maximum HP. Andy and Slayer, I guess. The next is the Reaper Necklace, which grants a stackable Reaper buff. When you score a critical hit, granting you 1% increase to attack bonus in all styles for 10 seconds, up to a maximum of 3% for 3 stacks. Next is the Death Touch Bracelet. Has a chance to reflect 25 to 50% of damage you receive back onto your opponent. Kind of useful, depending on how often it kicks in. And the last one is Amulet of Souls, which gives you a chance to heal 25 to 50% extra from Soul Split. Can come in very, very handy depending on how often it kicks in. There's a catch with these though. These jewellery pieces are degradable and they cannot be repaired. And they will last for 10 hours of combat, just like the rest of the tier 90 stuff. So the Ring of Death, the Reaper Necklace, and the Bracelet, and the Amulet of Souls, all of these degrade like the tier 90 gear. So, yeah. There's always a catch in it, let's be honest. There is a little added niceness to this though. If you're a level 80 or above Fletcher, you can use the Hydric Gems in order to make Hydric Bolt Tips. And these can be added to Ascension Bolts at level 90 magic. They can then be enchanted to create Ascendry Bolts. This is kind of like Uber Ammo, and grants you the Death Mark buff when you hit a target, which gives you 1% more adrenaline per hit while it's active. So that is pretty nice if you do oh my god, I can't even speak. It's nice if you use range, although personally I can't think of anywhere I would use range, except possibly at Kriara. No, you do use it now and then at Nex. Yeah, that's it, that's all I can think of. I don't know. But it might come in handy anyway, and by the sound of it, they do seem pretty damn useful, because it buffs up your adrenaline, and, well, range does have some pretty powerful uber attacks, so all in all, not bad. And last but not least, there's cosmetic rewards as well, as you'd probably expect. There's also titles known as the Reaper and Final Boss. And you get a full set of cosmetic overrides, which is the Vanquisher armor, which I can't see, so I can't show you. Other than that, Solomon's Store got some new wings and tails if you're interested in that kind of thing. Wings and capes apparently can now be worn at the same time. Pull up the wardrobe interface in-game, and you can check it out there. And changes to the Loot Bean 7s are now made by visiting Death in his office. You can get it via the portal in Draenor Village. So yeah, there is that. But we're not done yet. It's Monday, come on people, you should know what's coming up next. Patch notes. And there's, well, quite a few of them, let's be honest. It's going to take a little while. But yeah, patch notes it is. So let's get into it then. So starting with graphical fixes. The autocast highlight box should now appear again with offhand spells selected. The water fountains in Edgeville Monastery have been fixed and the water now flows in the right direction. Max will now be using updated animations and not legacy ones. Major stretching in the Infernal Mage's attack animation has been fixed. The Avandis Flail is now held in 2 hands during combat and has the correct animation. Bloodvelds in the Slayer Tower, Godwards? Come on Jagex, it's God Wars. And Mauritania's Underground have now had their models updated. Jesus Christ. The trial announcer outside the Grand Exchange no longer clips into the box he was standing on. Some old squirrel models have been updated. I didn't even know there was squirrels. New polls will now highlight correctly whilst in legacy mode. A small issue where players could see parts of Plague's End from the Araxite Hive has been fixed. An issue with the range skill ability interface that was causing an incorrect button to appear when scaled to a small size has been fixed. Righto. An issue with ribbon pull out menus opening in the wrong direction has been fixed. Models for the Hellhounds in player-owned houses have now been updated. So next on the list is skills and minigames. The trimmed summoning cape now boosts correctly. Snapegrass is now teleported to your bank by signs of the portal when it's picked up rather than when it is harvested from farming patches. The life points listed in the description for the Rocktail Soup Scroll now matches the new value. An interface issue with the Cure Plant option in Livid Farm has been fixed. The healing stats of Heimcrab Potato in Dungeoneering has been corrected. Celestial Dragons no longer get bored of fighting after freezing players in time. The XP skill select interface will no longer highlight the last selected item when opened. Recharging the Scepter of the Gods, Spectre. Spectre of the God. Nah, it's gotta be Scepter of the Gods. I swear Scepter of the Gods. Jack actually failing. The Scepter of the Gods now uses the correct amount of jeweled and gold artifices to recharge. Players may now opt to pay the zombie farmer from crop protection while their green fingers aura is active. It is no longer possible to sheathe the Exterminator in legacy mode. Tagging monsters during Slayer assignment with a partner no longer counts as 2 kills. Some misleading text when you kill somebody with Warbands items in your inventory has been reworded. You can now obtain another Scepter of the Gods if you have one keepsake. See, they spelled it right there, god damn it, Jagex. Malignius Mortifier no longer offers the player a brown apron in order to enter the crafting guild. Yay! Right, next is the quests and achievement fixes. A spelling error on Lady Melia's dialogue during Plague's End has been fixed. An issue with Red Revolution being unable to be completed if a player has finished Plague's End has been fixed. Some monsters and slave workers in the Temple of the Light tunnels are no longer present after the completion of Plague's End quest. Some post-quest chat has been added to Farmer Brumpty, General Heining and Gweir after Plague's End has been added. I probably assume that's meant to be after Plague's End's been completed, not added. I don't know. Players are now able to receive a crystal trinket after completing Plague's End. Some wording on interfaces during the Plague's End quest has been adjusted. Lady Heaven and Lord Cirrus no longer disappear when multiple players are interacting with them at the same time. Plague's End will now correctly reward 2 treasure hunter keys. Plague's End will now appear on adventurers' logs after completion. The magic tutorial in Blood Pact while on the path system no longer triggers if you have high level magic spells set to autocast. What? Alright, fair enough. The spelling of Treyern has been corrected on the interfaces called by checking the exoskeleton reward from Plague's End. Some unneeded capitalization of dialogue during Plague's End has been removed. A typo when adding the Ring of Jewel into the action bar has been fixed. A typo in Eastern Discovery book has been fixed. Moving on to the miscellaneous stuff. The Cooking Skill Advanced Guide now says to use pita dough to make pita bread instead of bread dough. A typo when customizing ribbons has been fixed. A bug report interface will now allow the correct amount of characters when sending another bug report in the same session. Players will now receive a clear message if they for any reason cannot use balloon travel. Duke Horatio's lectern is no longer interactive. You can no longer attempt the use operation of an item that is considered to be an empty inventory slot. An error with the destroy message from the Ankh has been fixed. The blocking around the Lumbridge windmill has been improved to reduce the risk of faceplant in the walls. All 6 versions of the Broken Gear can now be keepsake. Geared? I don't know. Whatever good is, or whatever is meant to be spelled as. I've got a clue. Superior Kaisatches may be switched from a special attack version to a passive version and vice versa by using them on the Bandos altar to match the Bandos Godsword. Cooked snails now give a more accurate health increase when consumed. Attack styles are saved in EOC and Legacy modes independently. Players can no longer use the legendary pet Scavenge ability to retrieve the fire feather from the Enchanter Firebird. The volume of the audio for the Energy Condenser emote for the prototype Colossus has been increased. Animated armor in the Warriors Guild now has a weakness to crush. An issue that did not let you use quick chat in the guest clan chat tab has been fixed. Oh my god, mouthful. Active scrimshaws and auras now display on the buffs and debuffs interface. The bonds pouch now correctly opens if you do not have your inventory visible in legacy mode. Tweaked green dragons to make sure they behave correctly in single way wieldy. The correct warning is now displayed when attempting to drag Barrows items from the bank. You won't send achievement broadcasts anymore if you've set yourself to appear offline. The use multiple stars interface will not appear if you have a prismatic and non-prismatic star in your inventory. The clan avatar options are now accessible again from the summoning icon when in legacy mode. The Araxite hive fixes. This might be interesting. Acidic spiders will no longer spawn underneath Araxor. That's always good. Damage from Araxor's cocoon move will no longer hit the player when moving into phase 4. Spiders that attack the graves within the Araxite graveyard have been told off and sent home. When being cleaved on the acid ramp in Tunnel 2, you will no longer get moved onto an invalid tile. The cocooned body outside the cave will now tell you what tunnels are open. Moving on to legacy fixes. Actually, not a lot of these this time. Your combat level displayed in the hero interface will no longer have a duplicate reference right next to it. Casting Vengeance will no longer delay auto attacks. The damage of Ket Zek has been reduced to be much closer to the original. The FPS display has been moved slightly to the left. Moving on to ninja fixes. players can now wear the Vialing, Via Grunt, Via Watch, Via Lord and Via Lady titles without having to wear the Darkmire disguise. You can now benefit from the Varrock Armor Smithing bonus when wearing the Blacksmith's top, assuming you've completed the respective achievement diary. The Captain's Log will now teleport you directly into the port instead of outside. The light creatures in the Tears of Guthix cave now have a right-click option to choose to take you either across or into the chasm. And lastly, we have an engine fix. A fix has been applied to correct the overly large vegetables that have been growing for some players. That's innuendo if ever I've seen it. But either way, I'm pretty sure that's all the updates for today. The only other thing is, there is this actually. Ask us anything about the clans. So this is about clan month in a nutshell, and the fact that there's going to be like a big old competition coming up. So this is all over the forums and Reddit, and it's all coming up tomorrow and from then on for the most part. So if you're interested in what's going on with clans and the fixes and changes they do into those over this period of time, this is here for you. But basically they're just talking about trying to improve the clans itself, and it's all random talk about that, so maybe you'll see something from it if you are actually in a clan. Maybe you won't. Who knows? Either way, that's pretty much it, people, so until next time, I will catch you all later. Have a good one. Monday, Monday, Monday.